Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner, Classic List Known Classics. This is episode number 27, 43, and double number 2637. 47. I got two Marvel trades. One is a mini-series, the other is a standalone trade. First, we have the standalone trade being, one's actually found that one. We have Star Wars Dark Droids D-Squad. A forged miniseries by Mark Guggenheim. Yeah, it's mostly what art. It's the best way to describe this miniseries is what the heck the R2D2 was up to during the events of. During the events of Dark Droids. That's kind of what this book is. Because you have C-3PO, IG-88, and a few other characters. Oh, they also have Chopper from Star Wars Rebels. Basically, it's what some of the droids are up to during the events of the main story. It's pretty good. Unlike in the case of Star Wars, it doesn't really lead to anything per se. Yeah, but it's still a pretty good book. Good book, roughly 9 out of 10. Next up we have is the final trade for X-Men Red by Al Ewing, Volume 4. This collection issues 1418 of X-Men Red, Volume 2. Yep, we have the end of X-Men Red here. Just like the other one of X-Men, we have another end of a X-Men ongoing. This one is not replaced with two mini-series, like in the case of more X-Men. This is replaced with one. The Resurrection of Magneto. Mostly put, here's what happens over the course of these issues. By the way, you have Yandere Clear on the interior work. The cover is by Selva Casino and G's Abruf. So basically, X-Men Red is nowhere to take place on Mars. So we start with chapter 14. Issue 14 of the series. The war we march. So members of the X-Men this issue are Genesis, who is actually a woman, not the son of. This is not the son of Apocalypse. He's still dead. This actually is the mother of the first Horseman. You have Storm, Sunspot, Nova, Lucia, Fisher King, Ludologs, Cabanero, Kilo, Ironfire, and Kira the Burning Heart. Mostly, we start with stuff with Genesis for people, of course, on Arkilla. Yeah, basically, we have Roberto reporting the Storm of what the heck happened to Gilla. So we have Big Bad going, some mutants basically go out too. You have Nova here, which, by the way, Nova is wearing the outfit from his Guardians of the Galaxy one when Al Ewing wrote the book. We destroy some statues here. We see the Fisher King merge with another character. We explain some of the stuff here, and of course we see the same species as one of the characters. I think it was Abyss from Avengers. Yeah, kind of interesting they threw this character here. Yeah, and by the way, Mars has been terraformed to have this colony here. So we have some stuff going on here. Stuff with Genesis. Stuff that's not getting interesting in this book. They have the Jacko show up, and then by the end of issue 16, we get more interesting stuff here. Birdie going on. And then at the end of issue 16, We have the return of Apocalypse. Yes, Apocalypse is back. A guy who's been absent for a good period of time for this era for the X-Men. Yes, he disappeared at the events of sort of X. He didn't do much after that. And now he appears here for the last 3 issues of this book. And by the way, he's not called himself Apocalypse or A. He just called himself the Revolution. And it's basically you have Gabriel versus Apocalypse. This is interesting because these two never met before. Yeah, and then basically at the battle they had, Nova's barely alive. No force is trying to heal him. Oh, look, Apocalypse is here. Father? Yeah, because basically this Jackal kid is actually Apocalypse's son. One of his children, anyways. Who was one of the... I think he was the Horseman of Death. We have Storm fighting with, of course, and we have some flashbacks of classic Apocalypse, which is so interesting. I love that. And then we have Croc. And in the final issue of the book, we have more fighting. Basically, Battle on Mars. Fisher King gets demerged with whoever he's with, he's dead. And of course, they have separately more. And the issue ends with, I think it's Genesis, with 2 of her children and Nightcrawler in a tube. And so that issue cliffhanger. But of course, this book will continue in the Resurrection of Magneto. Interesting book this one is. An okay ending. Nothing really to hold out here. Though it's the same length as Al Ewing's run for Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, I do think Apocalypse was interesting. Like I mentioned, he was last seen during events of X of Swords, which is interesting to run back here. Mm-hmm. Also, I was about to about X Unlimited. Which thinking, wait a minute, there's no X-Men Unlimited ongoing right now. No publication, anyways. Digital first. Yep, the book is referencing something happened in digital, which I kind of wish basically Marvel would put some of these digital first books, like some of these X-Men books, into a trade paperback or something, because there's a lot from it. Like Avengers has got their own digital first comic. Jeff the Shark had one too. I mean, yes, there's X-Men Green, but that's horrible. But a lot of the other X-Men seem interesting. But for the final show, what it is, it's pretty good. I'm going to give the book roughly a 9 out of 10. My final thoughts on the X-Men series. I thought the series was really good. Nothing bad here, per se. It has nothing to do with Krakoa. No, because the whole book is set on Mars. Yeah. Basically, a friend of mine, not going to name names, he basically, when he first saw Storm, after Krakoa stuff, basically now 5 years ago, he thought she was involved with some cult. Which she apparently didn't finish reading the issue because she didn't do with cults at all. Yeah. And apparently, get this, indirectly, this book is responsible for Fall of X. Yes, indirectly. Because the guy who's the new villain in Gary Duggan's in Invincible Iron Man, he blames what happens in this book on Tony Stark for allowing the X-Men to terraform Mars, his home planet. I'm like, really? Yeah, that's what he's been about. This book. What happens in this book, basically, it's a good book. The best way to describe this book, per se, it's a little bit like a modern day take on I would say, with a little mix of modern technology, it's modern take on Conan the Barbarian with modern technology. That's what it feels like with this book. This book is amazing. Not really a bad issue. I thought it was kind of weird they made Nova supporting character in this book and not Guardians. But since this book wrapped up, he's done practically nothing. I do appreciate, though, they actually inform about the events of the Hellfire Gala one-shot, but excuse me, I kind of wish that they sent with me. I mean, interesting enough, this book featured Sword after that book got canceled at issue 11. Yeah, after the second volume for Sword got canceled, like, where did Sword appear next? This very book. And they were around here for the first year until they got disbanded. Well, the team they had got disbanded, led by Cable. Yes, the adult Cable. Not kid Cable, adult Cable. And I've heard rumbling. Now, there was a new miniseries released from Marvel for Cable. It was 4 issues and it featured the adult Cable. Probably my favorite season. The guy wrote a live Cable in the past. Yep. But not very much to say about this book. It's good, and I can't wait to read more X books. Now, this one is done, which makes it, I would say right now, most of the X books are basically done for Krakoa stuff. There's still like one more left to go for Gary Duggan's X-Men book. Of course, I also have a finish of that and Wolverine X-Force. Basically, a few books left to go, not a lot, but that's what's will. So, that's pretty much a particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit this segment. Next up is Black Clover. Okay, next view. Bye.